Kaugnay pa rin sa pagkakapasa sa second reading ng RH Bill sa Kamara, makakapanayam natin si Quezon 4th District Representative at House Deputy Speaker Erin Tañada. Magandang umaga po, Congressman Tañada.
Magandang umaga, Hawi.
Nasa linya naman po ng telepono si Albay 1st District Representative Edsel Lagman, isa sa mga sponsor ng nasabing panukala. Magandang umaga po, Congressman Lagman.
Hawi, magandang umaga.
Okay. Congressman Lagman, kayo muna dahil kayong sponsor nito. Nakatulog na ba kayo?
Well, palagay ko na nakatulog na ng konti, pero masyadong maaga yung mga tawag from media outlets, kaya nagising ako ng mga alas 6. At nakauwi ako dito mga alas 3 na yata o patado na.
Marami pong mga pro-RH na nasa celebratory mood kagabi. Ano bang mood nyo? Dahil kayo, mas familiar kayo dun sa legislative process. Matagal pa tong laban na to, ano?
Well, ito ay fitting culmination ng 13 taon na saga for the enactment of the RH Bill. Kaya kami ay masaya-masaya at kami ay nagpapasalamat sa lahat ng mga sumuporta sa amin sa mababang kapulungan at saludo ako doon sa mga mambabatas at talagang steadfast na binutuan ng RH Bill kahit na nandoon yung mga obispo at mga members of the clergy.
Okay, dikit po yung boto, no? 113 ang pabor, 104 ang tutol. Sa tingin nyo, may posibilidad pang bumaliktad yon at matalo pa yung RH Bill sa third reading? Ano yung posibleng mangyari in terms of public pressure? Baka lalong mag-mobilize kaya ang simbahan para talunin yung inyong bill?
Yung mga bumoto na in favor ng RH Bill ay hindi na aatras. Palagay ko, pag third reading lalong lalaki ang margin of victory sapagkat darating na yung mga hindi nakaboto ng mga pro-RH na wala doon sa session hall kagabi at kaninang umaga.
Okay, si Congressman Erin Tañada naman, you chaired the proceedings last night. I know you also have your own position on the RH Bill, pero pag-usapan muna natin yung proseso, no? May nagsasabi na historic daw yung boto kagabi. Ano ba talaga ang significance nito para sa inyo?
Kung titignan natin kung gaano katagal pinaglalaban po itong usapin ng reproductive health sa pareho sa Senado at sa Kongreso, talagang mahaba ng panahon ito. At ito ngayon ay pinakamalayo na narating nitong reproductive health bill. Kaya pwede po nating sabihin historic. At kung hahanap po tayo ng kung may kasing tulad ng usapin na ito, pwede tayo bumalik noong 1950s nung pinag-uusapan yung pagsasabatas yung pagbabasa ng Fili and Noli sa ating mga paaralan. Alam natin na nung panahon ng 1950s, talagang tinututulan rin po ng simbahan ang pagbabasa nitong mga ginawa ni Gat Jose Rizal.
At mahirap ma-imagine na naging controversial yon, something that we take for granted today. Konting lawmaking 101, no? Kagabi, there was a voice vote, and then kaya humaba nga yung botohan, nagkaroon pa ng nominal vote.
Tama po yun.
And in fact, you were heard saying words made famous by somebody else previously, the A's have it, no? Which meant that the bill was approved according to the voice vote?
Under Section 114, on second reading, what usually happens is just a voice vote, no? Ayes or nays. Now, if one congressman is not happy with the result of the ayes and nays vote, he may move for nominal voting. And the only way to get to nominal voting is that 1/5 of the members present would agree to such nominal voting. And that is the procedure that happened. So there was a question. I declared that the ayes have it based on my reading. And I'm happy that I was not
basically, yung reading nyo was based, your hearing.
My hearing.
Not a reading.
Yes, my hearing, sorry, my hearing.
Kumbaga, palakasan ng boses.
Tama po yun.
Parang for an ordinary viewer watching on TV, parang pwedeng questionin yun, di ba?
Tama.
Lalo na, alam ng marami na kung ano yung position nyo sa RH Bill.
Yes, at pero yung lalo nagpatibay sa aking pananaw, no, ang aking pagdinig, nakita ko na may sumisigaw talaga mula sa panig ng anti-RH at talagang sinaway pa nga ng ilan sa mga kasama nila. So ito yung nangyari, pero base sa ating rules, meron pong congressman na tumayo, humingi ng nominal voting, nakuha po yung 1/5 requirement, so we proceeded to nominal voting. And dito humaba yung proseso.
Because you gave 3 minutes to each
Ayon
congressman who wanted to explain, pero of course, more than a few took up more than 3 minutes.
Yes, and ayon sa rules naman, talagang binibigyan po natin ng 3 minuto ang bawat congressman.
And then the results of the nominal voting confirmed, what
yes.
you heard based on the voice vote.
Yes.
Okay. Balikan po natin si Congressman Lagman. Marami pong lumabas sa mga speeches, mga paliwanag kagabi tungkol sa, lalo na sa mga anti-RH, tungkol sa mga issues. Ano? Unang-una, nagsusulong daw po ng promiscuity itong RH bill or nag-encourage daw ng sexual activity sa mga kabataan. Ano po yung reassurance nyo sa mga magulang na hindi lalong magiging sexually active dahil magiging available na yung mga condoms sa mga teenagers?
Walang pag-aaral na nagsasabi na kung ang mga kabataan ay bigyan ng reproductive health, sexuality education, they will become promiscuous. Ang kabaliktaran ang nangyari sa ibang bansa na mayroong sexuality education ang mga kabataan. Ang sabi ng empirical results ay unang-una, nabibigyan sila ng sapat o tamang sexual value. Pangalawa, nadidelay ang entry in sexual relation. Pangatlo, napopromote ang abstinence before marriage. Pang-apat, naiiwasan ang multiple sexual partners. At ang panglima, naiiwasan din ang transmission of sexually transmitted diseases. Kaya mas maganda, mas maraming beneficial effects ang sexuality education sa ibang bansa, ay palagay ko naman ang resulta sa Pilipinas ganun din. Meron kailangan natin ang sexuality education sapagkat merong default ng ating mga magulang sa tahanan at hindi nila pinag-uusapan ang tungkol sa sexuality. Kaya importante merong intervention ang Estado through formal education. Ngunit sa ating panukalang batas, meron naman option ang mga magulang na huwag nilang pahintulutan mag-attend ang kanilang mga anak ng sexuality education classes.
Yep. Congressman, one of the more surprising or interesting arguments last night against the RH bill was ito'y isang communist-inspired bill daw. Saan kaya nanggaling yon? Meron bang lobby yung Communist Party or yung NPA? Nagpaabot ba sa inyo ng mensahe yung mga komunista sa ating bansa na gusto nila yung RH bill?
Yung argument na yun ay talaga hindi naman pinapakinggan sa mababang kapulungan sapagkat yung nagsalita doon talagang every time he raises at nagdideliver ng privilege speech, ganun ang katagang tema. Lumang tugtugin na ang kinanta ng aming kaibigan doon sa mababang kapulungan.
Sige. Okay, one of the more dramatic moments last night, yung pagdating ni Manny Pacquiao, no? And he gave quite an emotional and dramatic statement. Binigyan pa nga siya ng standing ovation ng mga kasamahan nyo sa Congress. And then he voted no to the RH bill. And then parang may naka-obserba na sunod-sunod yung mga nag-no. Sa tingin nyo ba may impact yung pagdating ni Manny Pacquiao kagabi at yung kanyang impassioned plea na i-reject yung RH bill?
Definitely wala. Sapagkat kung ating titingnan yung record of voting, pagkatapos nagboto si Manny Pacquiao, 2 o 3 sumunod, agad na bumoto na no.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Na bumotong yes. Yes para sa ating panukala. Kaya palagay ko walang epekto yung impassion play ng ating idolo sa boxing.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Albay, 1st District Representative Edsa Lagman. Okay,
Maraming salamat ka.
Sige, balikan naman natin si Congressman Tañada. Okay, paulit-ulit sinasabi ng mga anti-RH, mga bishops lalo na may pressure daw na nanggagaling sa Administrasyong Aquino. Kapartido mo si Pangulong Aquino. Did you feel any kind of pressure? What kind of leverage does a sitting president exert on lawmakers? Kasi alam naman natin, lahat naman ng Pangulo may legislative agenda at nasa agenda naman ng Pangulo ang RH bill. So there's nothing really wrong with trying to influence the process. I guess there's a line na dapat hindi tinatawid ng mga Pangulo, ng administrasyon. Ano? How did you feel influence or pressure from the administration?
Wala naman akong naramdaman na pressure mula kay Pangulong Noy. As sa katunayan, nung nagkaroon po ng tanghalian, no, nung December 3, yung mensahe po niya sa Liberal Party at yung mensahe po niya sa iba't ibang mga congressman na dumalo, no, mula sa majority and minority ay bumoto lang, no, dito sa panukalang batas. Mahaba na po ang debatihan tungkol dito, bigyan ng pagkakataon na tapusin na para pwede na tayo mag-move on. So yun yung mensahe po ng ating Pangulo, and the most that he mentioned during the lunch, and I think that cannot be denied, is that if I were a congressman and I was not the president, I would have voted in favor. So that was the most that he did. And after that, wala naman na binabanggit o tumawag sa akin, maski si Pangulo, and I feel that he never crossed the line with it.
So have your party mates already made the bean count or head count kung how many of your members or how many allies actually toed the president's line?
Well, I haven't seen them since last night. So I'm sure kung sinasabi nga po ni Congressman Rufus, things may change. I'm sure both sides are doing their counting right now. And who knows, either side may go up, either side may go down. There might be even a decrease of people voting on third reading. We will never know.
Okay, so the next step is the third reading. Paano naiiba ang third reading sa second reading?
Well, unless in real, ang nangyari kasi, ang official is the third reading. Kapag you may voice vote on second reading, you go on third reading, and that's where you really manifest what your vote is. So, tama po si Kong Edsel na yung bumoto na po ng yes, mahirap na po baguhin po yan, except syempre kung hindi magpapakita sa Kongreso. Pero sa tingin po namin, papasok po yung mga Kongreso.
Okay, may pinapakita tayo sa monitor ngayon, yung proseso, no? So mukha siyang electronic circuits, but basically, lumampas na tayo doon sa second reading at third reading kung ma-approve. And
mahaba pa ang proseso, Howie. After, let's say for the sake of discussion, the bill is approved on third reading. Now we wait for the version of the Senate.
May Senate process pa.
May Senate
and
process.
And where are
pa.
they in the process?
They are in the process of period of amendments, and sabi nga po ni Senator Pia kagabi, pagbobotohan po nila on second reading yung kanilang version. And once they've passed that, they also go through third reading, and then after the third reading, then the bicameral conference committee meets to reconcile the conflicting versions.
And then once they reconcile, they will send back the final version of the bill to both houses.
To both houses.
At dadaan na naman sa botohan.
Voice vote for ratification.
In both houses?
In both houses.
And it's only then na
it will be sent to the President for signature.
And then, anong timetable dito? Are you projecting a timetable?
Well, kung magagawa po ng House ang third reading next week, magagawa po ng Senado rin ang third reading next week, pwedeng magkaroon ng bicameral conference committee sa buwan ng Enero. Anyway, we have still 9 session days in the month of January to finish our work.
And you think it will be passed into law?
Well, if the votes are there as we think they are, there's enough time.
Okay, maraming salamat, House Deputy Speaker Erin Tañada. And I hope you get some sleep now.